Senior Pastor. My name is Tanya Yoon, and I have the privilege of serving our churches as Children and Family Ministries Associate. Now, whether you have a paid children's ministry staff person or not, whether you have a large and thriving children's ministry program and lots going on, or whether you only have a few kids showing up from time to time, thank you for taking the next few minutes to listen to this video because there is something in here for you. Now, one key resource that I want to highlight right off the bat for you to be aware of if you aren't already is our resource that we developed in our Next Gen team called One Stage to the Next. This is a comprehensive overview of how a church can actively support children and youth as they mature in their faith, especially from one stage of life and ministry to the next. So it provides a high-level understanding of how the church as a whole can invest in ensuring their children and youth do not slip through the cracks. That's all I'm going to say about that resource. I encourage you to check it out and find out more about this. What I want to focus on specifically is something that I think applies no matter the size of your ministry to kids or whether you have one or not, whether you have paid staff or volunteers. This is important to know what CBOQ Kids is all about. So our mandate, our role is to resource and support ministry leaders and churches for equipping, training, and encouraging caregivers as primary faith influencers. And two, for providing excellent ministry programming that aligns with and partners with those key parents, caregivers, grandparents, those key faith influencers in the lives of kids. So our overall theme in CBOQ Kids is in God's story. We are rooted in the story of God. And in that story, we belong, we believe, we become. The belonging part is all about being connected in faith community. It's about intergenerational. And so we have resources to help you explore this conversation of what does it mean to be intentionally intergenerational in our faith communities. The we believe part is all about discovering our identity as a child of God. I wonder, what is your thoughts on the theology of childhood? Have you given it some thought? We have resources to support you in your thinking and in your wondering and in your exploration of what that is, and particularly as it relates to the children in your midst. And the we become is all about cultivating intimacy with Jesus, like through the spiritual practices and living out our faith through serving and through mission. And so this is how we center all of our resources and our support that we offer. And so we offer things like a family faith formation resource. And this is just a simple conversation tool that parents can use, or grandparents or primary caregivers in the lives of children can use as a way to have an intentional faith conversation. It's simple. It has the 4 components of presenting the story, of drawing closer to Jesus with the story, kind of engaging in a spiritual practice of some sort, in focusing on an identity, a truth of who we are in Jesus, and a way to actively live that out in serving, in mission with others. And so that's a resource that we offer every year on a new theme. We also have a lot of emphasis and focus on social media. We have some resources on you to engage with what does digital discipleship mean, and in particular with children and families. And so I encourage you to reach out and let's talk about that, because the digital world is not going away. And so we focus on a lot of social media posts and utilizing social media to prompt intentional discipleship. It's simple though. It's intentional, but it's not complicated. It's simple ways that you can prompt, you can share a post, or you can use this for inspiration in conversation starters and things like that. So those are things like dinner time conversation posts, or I wonder questions, or would you rather questions. We post things like blessings and prayers and encouragements for parents and for caregivers. We post all kinds of ways that you can simply engage in intentional faith formation. So our rhythm for the year in how we do our resources that is important for you, and maybe this can help and support you as you minister to the families in your church. September, October, and November, we focus on a parenting for faith kind of aspect. So there might be tips or ideas. There's initiatives like our Grandtastic Adventure, which specifically focused on the role of grandparents in the faith life of kids. This fall, we're focusing on supporting the married couples in our new resource called Rekindle. And so it's ways that we can really intentionally focus on what does it mean to parent for faith, whether you're a parent, a grandparent, a primary caregiver, a godparent, an aunt, an uncle. What does it mean to intentionally parent for faith? In December, we always focus on an Advent family resource. So a way to have a conversation intentionally, simply, quickly in the midst of the Advent season. And then January through June is when we kind of put out a different themed family faith conversation. So it includes those components that I mentioned earlier. And then for the summertime, the resource that I want you to know about is our Takeout Church resource. Again, a simple resource, but a way to intentionally support families in the midst of the different schedules of summer. So a lot of families are traveling or doing different things. Maybe you have people traveling through your area and they show up on a Sunday. Takeout Church is a resource to just help parents and families have a little fun in the summer while also engaging in a faith conversation. Now, we know that for many churches, especially with larger ministries, you might have a big program happening, a Sunday school program, a full ministry. And that is good. There's great opportunity for discipleship and growth. But we know that many of our churches don't have that or don't have the resources to do a lot. And I want to share that our focus is not about program. It's important, but we don't offer one specific program. I can come alongside and help you navigate options that might work for your programs, but we don't focus on that because children's ministry looks different in every context. So there's not one CBOQ program there, but we do offer those simple tools and resources to help you in partnering with parents, grandparents, key adult caregivers in growing in faith together. So I've mentioned these resources already: the monthly family faith formation conversations, the Takeout Church summer resource, the social media that we post, and another thing, the Real Family Time movie discussion guides. So these are all the resources and ways that CBOQ Kids can help you in adding a little bit of an intentional focus in the faith development of those who are youngest in your community. Now, just a word about those of you who pastor in a team context with a paid children's ministry person. That is wonderful, and I want to encourage you to care for them. Care for them as people. Ask them how they are doing, how you can pray for them, not just what they're doing or the tasks they're accomplishing, and also invest in their ongoing training and growth. And there are lots of great opportunities that I'd be happy to share with you, but invest in them, care for them. This is just a brief overview. There is so much more we could talk about, but you do have an important role, and I am so grateful for the ways that you are already ministering to all that are in your community, because you are pastor to everyone from youngest to oldest. And so let's start a conversation. Let's talk more about the specific ways that CBOQ Kids can come alongside you in your church, and so that we can support you in our shared mandate to pass on the praiseworthy deeds of the Lord to the next generation.